Good evening, and welcome back to another episode of 5-Minute Bedtime Stories. Tonight we're going to be reading Little Red Riding Hood. Let's jump into it. Once upon a time, there was a little rabbit who always wore a bright red cloak with a hood. Her name was Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Little Red Riding Hood and her mother packed a basket full of good things to eat. They filled it with her grandmother's favorite foods like fresh picked carrots, orange blossom honey, and homemade breast and tarts. Please take this basket straight to your grandmother's house, her mother said. Little Red Riding Hood nodded her head, and her mother helped her put on her red cloak. Her mother tied a beautiful bow underneath her chin, as only she could do. Then with a kiss on her forehead, her mother sent her Little Red Riding Hood off through the woods to her grandmother's house. Little Red Riding Hood hadn't gone far when a wolf leaped out from the trees. It's a forest full of cheese. "Where are you going?" he said. "I'm not supposed to talk to strangers," said Little Miss Riding Hood. Is it Little Miss Riding Hood or Little Red Riding Hood? I think they might have got the book wrong, but we'll go with Little Red Riding Hood, just for namesake. The wolf looked at her basket. "A picnic?" he asked. "It's not a picnic," said Little Miss Riding Hood. And she held the basket close. "It's a basket for my grandmother. Now please excuse me so I can take it to her." The wolf sniffed the basket. "No flowers?" I'm going to change the name. I'm going to change the voice for the wolf now, just to make it a little bit more interesting. The wolf sniffed the basket. "No flowers? I would never visit my grandmother without a big bunch of flowers. Perhaps you should stop and pick some. You wouldn't want to let her down." Little Red Riding Hood thought that was a good idea. She picked some buttercups and daisies, while the wolf ran down the path towards her grandmother's house. Grandmother was rocking in her favorite rocker, mending her favorite apron. She hummed a little tune as she worked, so she didn't hear the door creak open. Grandmother also paid careful attention to her needlework, so she didn't see a big, hairy wolf sneak into the house and into the closet. "Grrr!" snarled the wolf as he sprung from the closet. "Oh my!" cried Grandmother. "You look so tasty," said the wolf. Grandmother jumped up from her chair and knocked over the table. She ran out of the house as fast as she could. The wolf looked through the grandmother's closet and found her nightcap, gown, and some glasses. He put them on, leaped into bed, and pulled the covers up and over his nose. "But Grandmother," said Little Miss Riding. Why do I say Little Miss Riding? "But Grandmother," said Little Riding Hood. What colour is she? Red. "But Grandmother," said Little Red Riding Hood. "What big teeth you have!" "All the better to eat you with," growled the wolf as he jumped off the bed. "You're not my grandmother!" Yeah, obviously. "You're not my grandmother!" Yeah, obviously. Okay. Said Little Red Riding Hood. "Why, you are the big bad wolf of the West." Why? Why, you were the big bad wolf of the forest, not the West. "What have you done with my grandmother?" The wolf chuckled. "You'll never find out," the West Wolf said. "That's what you think," said someone behind him. Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf looked up. There was Grandmother. She was standing in the doorway with a big, strong lumberjack. The wolf chuckled again. "One old lumberjack can't catch a quick, smart West Wolf like me." The West Wolf leaped towards the bedroom window. I'm going to go to New Zealand now. But he didn't get very far. Little Red Riding Hood grabbed the wolf's tail while Grandmother snatched up her nightcap and pulled it down over the wolf's eyes. The lumberjack plucked her up from the wolf and carried him off to the bank of the river. Go back to normal. Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother followed him close behind. The lumberjack set off on a big log. I'm 12. He pushed the log into the water, and the wolf quickly sailed down the river. "He doesn't look so big in the middle of that wide river," said Grandmother. He doesn't look so bad when he's so far away. Oh my god. Okay, said Little Miss Riding Hood. Little Miss Red Riding Hood. And he doesn't look like he'll be coming back anytime soon, said the lumberjack as the wolf floated out of sight. With the wolf safely gone, everyone went back to the house and enjoyed the food in the basket. As grandmother sipped some tea, she smiled at Little Red Riding Hood and said, "You are very brave, and I'm glad I'm your grandmother." And that concludes tonight's bedtime story. Come back next week.